Hello, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode on Pious Football, where we discuss tactical analysis of games. We also talk about pertinent issues around European football that you don't hear on the mainstream, and also bring you transfer news as and when they happen. Welcome to this special weekend edition, holiday edition, sorry, of the program. Those of you who are in Ghana know that today is a holiday, and so I decided to, bring you. Highlights of yesterday's games, and then talk about one or two issues or stories related to football this week. Also, I'd like to just brush through yesterday's games. The Champions League is back, and everyone around the globe is glued to their sets. They'll be beholden to the spectacle European Champions League from now till the summer of 2024. Yesterday, a pulsating game between Bayern Munich and Manchester United at the Allianz Arena, the old foes of the Champions League. Remember, they were both, at the 1999 Champions League final, and that's one of the most famous Champions League finals of all time. They played out a 4-3 win for Bayern Munich. Three late goals coming from Matistel of Bayern, and then two late goals from Casemiro, making it 4-3. It's actually a good win for Bayern if they want to stamp their authority on the group. Many pundits across the globe, even the bookmakers, all said that Bayern were going to win, considering the form of Manchester United coming into the game. This now makes them one of the worst European performing teams this season, Manchester United. Their third loss on a row after losing to Brighton and Hove Albion at home, 3 kind of sort of thrown the season out off its hinges for the team. What is the way forward for Manchester United right now? Erik ten Hag said after the game that the players, the defenders, he criticized his defenders and said that they conceded easy goals. They let in easy goals. He felt that the Bayern attack, Sergio Gnabry, Leroy Sané, and Thomas Muller are all having a go at the United defense, going through it very easily. Onana also owned up to his own mistakes yesterday. He said that yesterday's game was one of his worst games in the Champions League. He had a blunder, conceding the first goal against Bayern Munich with Leroy Sané's strike from very long range shots. Onana should have done better with that. So, I mean, the players are owning up to their responsibilities. Ten Hag is criticizing his defenders for letting in easy goals. But to me, I think that Manchester United, at this rate, if they keep losing at this rate, the manager will find himself, out of a job very early on in the season. I think that Erik ten Hag needs to get his acts together. If you look at the game overall, it looks like the United players kind of gave up very early on in the game, that they were going to lose because of the way that they played. They did not, run after their opponents. They left the spaces open for the Bayern attackers to exploit their defense. And for me, I think that it's a message that they are sending out to those of us who are monitoring how things are going at Old Trafford, that they either don't understand the coach's tactics, or they are struggling to accept what they are being taught in the training grounds. It looks like the manager is having problems, transferring his knowledge of how he wants the team to play to the players. And that, for me, is even more damning than the 4-3 loss that we had yesterday. As Manchester United, I think that Erik ten Hag needs to get his acts together. He needs to carry a very clear message of his tactics to the players, because, you have Casemiro and Christian Eriksen in midfield. These are world-class players, so they shouldn't be struggling or found lost in any midfield in Europe. So if they are, they seem lost to me right now, and it shows that the manager is struggling to let his message of how he wants to play, sink in well with the players. It looks like that is the problem, and Ten Hag needs to get that, corrected as soon as possible before, the game against Burnley on Saturday, 8 p.m. late kickoff. So hopefully we can win that game. If we don't win that game, then Ten Hag might probably get the sack before December, and that is not really looking good. Another positive I want to one positive I want to look at from the game against between Bayern and Manchester United is the young talent Matistel. He was bought from Rennes last, I think, 2 seasons ago, or last season. I'm not sure about that. He came in from the French league. I think he came in 17-year-old Matistel. He's doing really well. He's been scoring some really late goals coming on. They are trying to bring him up very slowly. Remember that they signed, Bayern Munich signed Harry Kane over the summer to try and be their number 9, lead their attack up front. But Matistel is being propped up to, replace Harry Kane on the long term. And so he's going to be a fantastic number 9. I remind you that he's already part of the French under-21 team, a European team. So hopefully he's going to do well going forward. He had his cameos in the Bayern shirt, coming on, scoring late goals, being a super sub is going to help build his confidence for the future. And Matistel is one talent that you want to also look out for the future. Also, Jude Bellingham saves Real Madrid again. Bellingham came, scored the last grab winner to give Real Madrid a 1-0 lead, a win over Union Berlin at the Santiago Bernabeu. I'll remind you that Union Berlin are actually making their first Champions League appearance in a very long time. I think over 2 decades, Union Berlin. So this is actually a very big opportunity for them to showcase their talent, and they did not disappoint. They held Real Madrid for a long time until Jude Bellingham, scored a late win at the Santiago Bernabeu. Now it comes back to the same talking points that I've been making about Real Madrid this season, that Carlo Ancelotti needs to sort out his attack, because they refuse to sign a striker except bring in Joselu in the team last season. So Joselu coming in as a number 9, he's playing Rodrigo and Joselu up front, but it's Bellingham that keeps saving the day. So focusing on the positive of that game, I would say that Jude Bellingham is actually having a time of his life. He believes that this is just the beginning, that the sky is the limit. So Jude Bellingham, he won the man of the match or for the day. Of course, he scored the only goal. And I think that going forward, Carlo Ancelotti, although he doesn't have a lot of striking options, he's done well to try and win each of the games that he's played. I said in my previous episode on Pious Football that Real Madrid seem to concede early in their games. They need to check their defense and keep a clean sheet. So it's good to see that at least, although they won 1-0 against Union Berlin, which I think they should have scored more goals, but with the problem they have in their attack, they managed to keep a clean sheet, which is always good for Real Madrid and for Carlo Ancelotti. So good win there for Real Madrid. Also, Arsenal are back. They marked their return to the Champions League after 6 years with a thrashing of PSV Eindhoven. They won 4-0. Bukayo Saka was on the score sheet. The Trossard, who was brought in to replace the injured Martinelli, was also on the score sheet. I think their captain Odegaard was on the score sheet, and then Gabriel Jesus also on the score sheet for Arsenal. It was a wonderful European night for the Gunners. I'm really happy for the team and how they are growing. Mikel Arteta, has built the team from humble beginnings. They struggled, initially, but now they seem to have gotten, their tactics and their, everything is working for them. So Arsenal look like they are going to be the group leaders. So good win for Arsenal, and hopefully they'll continue on their positive trajectory. Inter Milan also had a very difficult game. They drew 1-1 against Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad also one of the teams that are really excited to be in the Champions League. The Spanish team, first time they are playing the Champions League in 10 years. Real Sociedad, I mean, they tried to sign some quality players to try and boost their ranks for the season, and it shows that they did very good positive recruitment, because you can see that they had some very dangerous plays up front, and means some very top quality saves from Inter Milan goalkeeper, who tried to keep them in the game. And Marcus Thuram also scored a goal, but it was disallowed for an offside. So overall, Inter Milan, they need to improve on their attack, but overall I think that it was a good away point for Inter Milan in the Champions League against a difficult Spanish opposition. And then Napoli also getting a very well-deserved late win against Braga in Portugal. They won 2-1 against Sporting Braga. So Napoli also, trying to get in some wins. They've had a very difficult start to the Serie A this season. Mind you, they've lost their manager Luciano Spalletti, who has left to join the Italian national team. So they have to try and get their acts together, and it's good to see that they have their first win in Europe this season. Also, I want to talk about another record in the Champions League this season. Sergio Ramos making his record appearance in the Champions League. He is now the all-time, most capped player in the Champions League, the most capped Spanish player in the Champions League. He has 102 appearances for in the Champions League. The top most capped player is Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, Mr. Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo has 115 appearances in the Champions League. He also has the most goals in the Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo. And then comes second is Ramos. Initially, it was Iker Casillas, also a Real Madrid Spanish international, who had 101 appearances. But now Sergio Ramos, playing for Sevilla, his hometown club, they played a 1-1 draw against Lens yesterday, against Lens in France, I think. And it was a good draw for them, because Lens are a very difficult opponent. They have very good quality players, and they are looking to show themselves this season in the Champions League. So Sevilla getting a point is not really bad, and then Ramos also making that record most capped Spanish player in the Champions League with 102 appearances. And then my final story for today, I want to talk about the fact that a lot of debates has gone on for some time now over who is the greatest of all time. I just going through my stories for today. I chanced on one editorial by the Mirror in the UK. They asked ChatGPT, the AI, who is the greatest of all time. So he compiled a list of who, according to statistics and records, who he believes is the greatest of all time. And he puts the AI puts Pele as the greatest of all time, number one. Mind you, Pele played in Brazil most of his life, played for Santos, won the Copa Libertadores on 3 occasions. He won the Club World Cup on 2 occasions. He's won the World Cup on 3 occasions, the only player to have won 3 World Cups. So obviously, like I always say, I agree with ChatGPT that Pele is the greatest of all time in my estimation. Now, the second on the list, he puts in Diego Maradona. Mind you, the Argentine won the Europa League with Napoli, won the Italian League with Napoli in a league that had very quality players. The AC Milan team, the record-breaking AC Milan team of the 1980s, getting to the 90s, So this was at a time, Juventus had quality top players. Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, all had top quality players. But Diego Maradona was able to win the league with Napoli, the Italian league with Napoli in 1990. A very great achievement indeed for the Argentine. And then also he won the 1986 World Cup, single-handedly won the World Cup for Argentina. So if you look at the analysis that the GPT put in there, he believes that Maradona, achieved greatness in circumstances that were really, very difficult, in an era where playing as an attacking player, against one of the greatest, periods where one of the greatest defenders of the game existed. So Diego Maradona coming in at number 2, and then he put Lionel Messi, who today many believe is the greatest of all time, on at number 3. And the Argentine, has so many records. He's won the Copa America. He's won the World Cup. He's won 4 Champions League trophies. So coming in number 3, I would have put Messi at number 2, and Ronaldo at number 3, and probably Maradona at number 4. But ChatGPT put Maradona at number 2, put Lionel Messi at number 3, and put Cristiano Ronaldo, the guy with the most international goals. He's won 5 Champions League trophies. He has records in the Champions League as the most capped Champions League player, the most, the guy who has the most goals in the Champions League, coming in at number 4 for Cristiano Ronaldo. And then also he put in Johan Cruyff. Johan Cruyff, many tout him as also part of the list of one of the greatest of all time. Johan Cruyff won 3 Ballon d'Ors, is also on the list. And also coming in at number 6 is Alfredo Di Stefano, the Real Madrid legend, on winning 5 Champions League trophies on a row for Real Madrid. Alfredo Di Stefano coming in at number 6. Number 7 is Franz Beckenbauer. Franz Beckenbauer, the German legendary defender, who won 3 World Cups. I think he won 2 World Cups. He's won 3 Champions League trophies for Bayern Munich. Franz Beckenbauer is a legend, one of the greatest defenders of all time. So if he is the first defender on the list, coming at number 7, I think that is okay. And then he puts Zinedine Zidane, the French genius who plays for Real Madrid, Juventus, and also started his career at Bordeaux. Won 3 Ballon d'Ors, won the Champions League in 2002 with Real Madrid. He comes in, also won the France World Cup for France in 1998. Also comes in at number 8. And then George Best, the Irish genius, the magician, one of the greatest legends of Manchester United, won the first British player to win the Ballon d'Or in 1968 when United won the Champions League. He comes in at number 9. And then Ferenc Puskás, the Hungarian legend, part of the team that won 5 Champions League trophies on a row for Real Madrid from 1955 to 1960. Ferenc Puskás coming in there at number 10, completing the list of the greatest of all time. So, for me, overall, I agree with the list. ChatGPT also made an all-time best 11. An all-time best 11, and of course he played a 4-3-3. He put in a 4-3-3, and at the defense you can see that Buffon is in there, the goalkeeper, the greatest goalkeeper in his estimation, being in the first 11, and then also Cafu coming in at right back, and then he puts in Franco Baresi, the great Italian AC Milan legendary defender, Franco Baresi, and Frank Beckenbauer. Frank Beckenbauer coming in as 4 and 5, and then he put in Maldini as a left back. Many people would have favored Roberto Carlos, but I think that Maldini coming in there makes that defense very solid. And also in midfield, he has Johan Cruyff, Diego Maradona, and Zinedine Zidane in there as a top defense. Midfield right there. And then his attack, he puts Pele as a number 9, with Messi and Ronaldo flanking him on the left and the right. So if you look at ChatGPT's greatest 11 of all time, looking at the team sheet, the best team of all time, that is what he has in there. It looks a bit imbalanced in the midfield because Zidane is not typically the defensive midfielder. But if you're looking for the greatest team of all time, you have to squeeze in some of these players. So I think that ChatGPT has done a good job, and I agree with this 11. Although I would have put in Roberto Carlos in there, probably replaced Franco Baresi with Maldini. That is the only change I would have made to this lineup. So kudos to the AI. I think it's done well, and I agree with the AI, and that is why I have brought it on this editorial. So thank you very much for staying with me. Hopefully we'll come back to bring you news from weekend game that will be coming up this week. So thank you very much for staying with Pious Football. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel Pious Football, and then click on the notifications button. Anytime I upload a video, you will get notifications that a video has been uploaded on YouTube. So thank you very much once again for staying with me on Pious Football. Bye.